Stadium Swim on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
JVT's hanging out at Circa. It's Cofield here in Northern California, getting ready for UNLV and San Jose State tomorrow night. Be right here on ESPN Las Vegas. As I said yesterday, I will punch down. I will do it a second straight day because the outcome that I expected was delivered. And when I talked about this yesterday, punching down is talking about one of the guys who does contribute to your joint, VSiN, but often tweets about hating on Vegas joints around town. And I've been texting you for a couple of days because I was like, wow, John has something in common with this story. So the story was, and it really blew up big because LV Locally picked it up, was some weird bill that was posted claiming that the luxury suites at Allegiant had charged someone like $600 from Pizza Rock and $300 for chicken tenders and then like a $112 administrative fee. And I immediately started, I didn't do a whole lot on it, but on social media, I'm like, this is weird. Like that, this is not believable. There's no follow-up on it. Plus the dude has a history, like I said, of fragging local places with really no one to rebut. But in this case, I think he overstepped because I talked to you, John, off the air, and you had just been with a bunch of buddies, all reputable guys, who maybe a couple, if you had a bad time at a suite at Allegiant, maybe we would have heard about it. And by the way, I have no title Allegiant just because I do stuff with UNLV. I can comment on it. Believe me, I criticize Allegiant Stadium all the time for its shortcomings. So this isn't the point. But did you guys actually get into this on VSiN or not?
No, I mean,
you didn't?
Well, I didn't. Krakenberg might have gone on with Gill and discussed it because he does a weekly there. So maybe
I thought there was going to be a little confrontation here about exactly what the hell happened with this bill that clearly seems fishy. And people just ran with it like, I can't believe they would do that there, price gouging. And as a result, now people are like, Pizza Rock is crap. Let me tell you something.
Biden's America.
Pizza Rock is awesome. This is a place that I don't even think we currently do business with Pizza Rock, but I tell everyone, go there. Tony Gemignani is awesome, and he's a legit pizza dude, Neapolitan expert. It just seemed bizarro.
No, it did, and I approached this from confusion because, as you mentioned, so for our audience, the Friday night game against Boise State, I, like you mentioned, was with a group of people that went to a suite there. We had pooled our money together. We went there for a lot of people around Vegas that you would recognize in terms of names or whatever. And when we went, we paid up front, and included was a full menu as well as drinks for the entirety of the room. In fact, Not just a menu, Steve, the food was replenished as the night went along. So, for example, we finished the plate of ribs. Within 10 minutes, there's a fresh plate of ribs. We finish the alcohol. There's a new bottle of alcohol. So that's where I was confused at, because my experience was everything was paid up front and everything was provided when you got there. So I still have not connected that right there. Like, what exactly is the difference between what I experienced in terms of menu availability and paying as opposed to what was out there? Now, it has since been cleared up to a certain extent that the prices were so large and exorbitant because it was not just an individual pizza and not just what you saw in the picture, but it was for the entirety of the suite, according to the person that actually was the owner of the receipt.
Oh, my God.
So, again, upcharging for what you're ordering in a suite, sure, I think that's probably going to happen. But what was presented was a picture of a plate of chicken tenders and one pizza, and then presented as if that was the only thing they received, and that was the incorrect and or disingenuous way to present that. But I still don't understand what the difference was between what I experienced, because I will tell this to anybody, and I honestly mean this, like you said, I have no tie to Allegiant. If you have enough friends, that is so worth your while to do what I did. It was a grand total for me personally of $300 to have all you can eat, all you can drink, suite seats if you have enough people with you. You're spending that if you're taking you and your family or buddies out to go do that anyway. So I thought that was a great experience. In fact, myself and John Murray over at the Westgate, who went with me, I keep joking with him every time I see him. It has changed my life to the point where I'm only a sweet guy. Like, I'm only going to go to sporting. Yeah, I'm only going to sporting events now if I can afford to get into a suite, because it was such a great experience.
Yeah. Griffin, can you turn to the camera and go, Cofield, you were right. And we'll get Danny on at some point next week or the week after, because Danny was real leery, because that kind of story is like red meat for the press box. You just you go with it, you run with it. Oh, it must have happened. Because the way the guy explained it was they ordered, and like you said, only a portion of the food was sent out. They ordered, the server thought it was for an entire suite. That's why the prices were that high. They were ordering for 2 people. And then the person also said they were awesome about it. They fixed it. They took it off my bill. So why does that receipt go out claiming that you got 2 items and $111 admin fee without any story? Because that's what this person does. Sorry, Griffin, I cut you off when I was demanding that you give me credit.
No, you're good. Honestly, yeah, you don't really hear a lot of stories about praises about like sporting events like Allegiant Stadium. I feel like you always hear the negatives, the clickbait. There's not a lot of praise for how good that stadium actually is. I think when it comes to the NFL, it's a top 5 stadium, maybe even a top 3. It's really high class. It's really nice working there every Raiders game day. I get to see a lot of it. I think a lot of people need to start appreciating that UNLV, the Raiders, all these sporting events could take place in Allegiant. That is so nice for the community.
By the way, follow that, John, as you know, follow that. You'll never say anything bad said about Circa. You'll never see any stories about South Point. This is a situation that happens around town where people will go anti-Vegas if they're not juiced in. Places that take care of them,
sure.
Oh, they're not. Even if they had a problem, they're never going to tell you about the problem.
Yeah, and it was to get a little bit more information about it. It seemed very odd to try to do this. And like you said, in today's society, once the toothpaste out of the tube, it's over, right? There will be many people who just move on.
How about the response I saw? His name was Derek Sutton 9. How about the response from the LV locally, whoever runs it, a man or woman? They were like, thanks for the update. That's it?
Yeah, right.
That's it. Like you said.
Because that doesn't make that doesn't make the headlines, right? That doesn't make people fired up.
So weird.
That doesn't get you interaction at all.
Yeah.
By the way, I will say, bang up job by UNLV social media to respond to this.
That's a good point.
This was awesome. They did their uniform unveiling for San Jose State, and I think was it Grimes who was the model for the uniform, and they had him going to Pizza Rock, I think at GVR, hiding in the little truck that they have there, eating pizza to the song "It's Not About the Money." Brilliant way to fire back. And I will say, this is a program now under Odom. It seems I know social media is a little bit disconnected. They seem willing to kind of shoot back in certain instances. And I actually think in this instance, it's a pretty fun thing to do.
Have you met the guys who do a lot of their social media, Ricky and Matt?
I don't think so, no.
They're both very quiet, but they've got that side where they're like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a good video, man. It was great.
That's real good. All right, let's get people updated on as the world of Dion turns. So we had the story. You know, well, we should get out of the way first because we have to go to break here in about 3 minutes, and we can come back and address the other part of it. Would you like some sort of admission on my part that I was wrong on Colorado?
No, not really. I mean, I'm actually in that group because I have a friendly bet with somebody that Colorado was going to go under their win total this year. And it's not like I thought Dion was awful, but I didn't think they were going to be this good. And so that was more of a collective, like, are we willing to admit, because I have recently, Dion's done a really good job this year. I think he's done a very good job. He did very good with his defensive coordinator hire. They're a very solid defensive team. There seems to be less noise coming out of that program than there was last year, and they have been more buttoned up and taking care of business, and sure enough, they're on the verge of potentially winning the Big 12. I think he's done a really good job. And I also have a bet on them. I destroyed Damon on the win total last year because he did an adjusted win total. He agreed to go, I think, up to, after they won the first 2 games, he was like, I'll do 7, over under 7. Okay, they didn't get there. I followed it up with, by the way, I did beat you in this Miami 2-year win total. You did. I got you on that. Damon, though,
I did Arizona 2 years, this year and next year, and Colorado 2 years, and their win total. I'm already down 4. Arizona's been one of the disasters, and every week that Colorado wins, I'm like, I don't like. Even if Dion leaves, I can't come back from. I don't think I can come back from this.
Did you make that Arizona bet? Like, were you pro Brennan?
I was pro Brennan. No. Nope. That was on Jed Fish.
Okay,
remember that was the whole point. If I bet on Jed
I'm
Fish
not
at
a big
Arizona,
Brennan guy. I didn't think you were either.
Domino. I don't hate him. I was like, I think I'm in decent position. He might hate me, but I'm a Jed Fish guy. And then all the dominoes fell the wrong way for me because then Kalen DeBoer out of nowhere goes to Alabama. Well, Saban out of nowhere retires. Then DeBoer, then Jed Fish. So I'm like, well, and honestly, for a guy who's offensive minded, the offense has not been good, and Fafita has actually regressed.
Yeah, I'm not really a big Brennan guy. I think a lot of people wanted to point to San Jose State and be like, he did such a good job at the commuter school and all good. He was 0-3 in bowl games. The only winning season was the COVID year. I thought that there was a lot being made of the situation. And then, by the way, I'll just say, Look what Ken Niumatalolo's doing right now. Like, he's doing a pretty tremendous job. It's not like this desolate place where you could just never get anything done. He rebuilt that roster, kept the defensive staff intact for the most part, and was like, here you go. Here's a bowl team.
By the way, was there something earlier? I'll post the interview with Kevin Richardson, who does play-by-play. He mentioned the weather tomorrow, and he said with Coach Ken, they'll deal with it. Things will stay calm. And then he mentioned, well, if, when Brennan was here, everything kind of got emotional in situations like this. I was like, wow, that was a little bit of a low blow to Brent Brennan. He got that one in pretty quick. Update on Dion, and now the word on him staying in college or going to the NFL.
I'm Eli Manning.
And I'm Peyton Manning. We want to tell you about the Caesars Sportsbook Nevada app with Caesars Rewards.
You can instantly redeem your Caesars Reward credits for sports bets right on the app.
You can also use the Caesars Reward credits earned on the app for meals and experiences at 15 resorts across the state, including the Bacchanal Buffet at Caesars Palace.
Don't forget those tier credits. With your wagers on the Caesars Sportsbook Nevada app, you can unlock free parking and much more.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Remy Martin is the official cognac of the JT the Brick Show. When you're celebrating any of your team's victories, celebrate with Remy Martin Cognac, XO, VSOP, and 1738. Remy Martin, team up for excellence.
Finley Auto Group is pleased to welcome the newest dealership in the Valley Auto Mall, Finley Nissan Henderson. Looking for a new or used Nissan car, truck, or SUV? Find your Nissan at Finley Nissan Henderson. Visit the showroom today to get the best deals and customer service on all Nissan makes and models. Right now, save big with 0% on 2024 Rogues and Altimas, OAC, and Nissan Versas under $20,000. Browse their full inventory of new or pre-owned vehicles at FinleyNissanHenderson.com. Find your Nissan at Finley Nissan Henderson inside the Valley Auto Mall.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. You already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What's up? It's Tyler Bischoff from the Press Box. The football frenzy is on. Make sure you listen to the Press Box every Friday for your chance to win your share of $2,000. It's our weekend bankroll contest sponsored by Dollar Loan Center, where you can get up to $5,000 in minutes at don'tbebroke.com.
Now back to Cofield and Company, live from Stadium Swim at Circa, Las Vegas, on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
Getting to the halfway point of Cofield and Company, Stadium Swim, Circa, Las Vegas, Cofield in San Jose, getting ready for the UNLV game tomorrow. So we're just talking about the latest with Deion Sanders. This week was highlighted by Michael Irvin going on the herd and laughing like he does and saying, I got a source who says Deion would take the Cowboys job. And he couldn't just leave it there. He's like, you know who the source is. I'm like, yeah, we got it. We got it at the beginning of it. So now,
Jerry Jones?
do you not know? You want me to spell it out for you?
Oh, it's Deion. Okay.
It is Deion. I know sometimes it doesn't connect with you. So now we've got Joel Klatt, who played at Colorado, and I think he says he has conversations with Deion. And Klatt makes the case that that kickstand comment, like, I'm here to stay, that's true.
I asked him last Friday, do you want to go to the NFL? And he looked at me and he said, no. And I said, why? And he said, because I don't feel like I would be fulfilling my calling and my purpose if I was there. My calling is to impact young men. I happen to do that through coaching. And I feel like I can do that better at the college level than I could with a bunch of professionals that might listen to me and might not listen to me because of the amount of money that they're actually being paid.
Seems like a plausible conversation. Even if he said that, do you fully believe Deion?
I mean, look, this is probably unfair of me. I believe it to a certain extent, but I believe he's presenting it incorrectly just to look better. Look, man, Deion can stay in college for a really long time, make a lot of money, and have a lot of control. You lose a lot of that control when you're in the National Football League. You do. But in college, you can go and lean on boosters, and you can get money for your program, and you recruit kids to come to your program, and you're larger than life. And your stance as a head coach is massive. And I think that's why, as we have seen many, many years, that's why there's Nick Sabans and now Kirby Smarts and whatnot. Guys that are going to be great and stay where they're at for a really long time, even though they're good head coaches, because it's just better and there's more money in being a head coach. And sure, you could put it as you want to impact young men's lives or whatever it is, and maybe there's a part of it that's true. But, man, like, if I had my choice, if I was like an awesome coach, if you asked me where would I rather be, I would much rather be a college football coach than an NFL coach.
Wow. Now, we should include, and I think Deion would say this as well, if there's a chance I get to coach my son in the NFL and someone will offer me that job, then, yeah, I'm leaving.
Well, and yeah, my caveat was actually going to be, is it Colorado that he stays at, is the other real big question.
I don't know. Did Klatt specify Colorado or just say college?
I think he just said staying, whatever that means. But that, to me, is the bigger one. Is Deion just going to build Colorado into this power and be there forever? Or when some of these other big jobs come calling in, like the Big Ten and the SEC, is he going to pack up and head out in that direction? That's, I think, the real question.
Well, if you told me that the playoff system is going to stay the same, then I want to be in the Big 12.
Sure, yeah.
Now the flip side of that is it may get to a point where it is really in a 12 school playoff, it's 4-4 for the Big Ten and the SEC, and Big 12's only getting one. So there's a benefit to going, especially to the SEC, because the myth that all of their teams are just better than everyone every year, that persists. Right. So there's a good chance that they are going to get 3 and 4 teams in. I mean, it's already happening with the SEC donks talking about clearly this team is better than it's the most balance we've had in a college football season in years. Nothing is clear.
Yeah, is it better to have more bites at the apple, to be like one of the 4 or 5 teams that makes it in, or is it better being a conference that you can have a good shot at winning every year, but you have to win it to get in, is the real question.
I was going to do a giveaway. I'm going to do it coming out of the next break. Stadium Swim, Thursday Night Football tonight. Browns, pretty short dog against what has been a dominant Steelers defense. Check it out. That's the spot to watch Thursday Night Football. Stadium Swim, Circa, Las Vegas.
Traffic is brought to you by Port of Subs. Stop in today or order at portofsubs.com or on our app.
Accident, Summerlin Parkway eastbound after Rampart, Owens Avenue at Sand Hills, Sunset Road at Pecos, and 15 northbound that's showing at the 215 Southern Beltway. Overnight lows tonight in the 30s.
Traffic is brought to you by Port of Subs. Stop in today or order at portofsubs.com or on our app.
Port of Subs fans, upgrade your meal. Add chips and a drink for just $2. Make it a combo for just $2. Visit portofsubs.com now.
Sides, fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
This is John Barr, General Manager at Finley Toyota. Been thinking about getting a new truck? Now's the time. We got huge incentives on the powerful Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. These trucks are built to handle anything you throw at them. With these deals, they're more affordable than ever. But these offers won't last. Come see us at Finley Toyota before they're gone. We'll make sure you drive off in the truck you've always wanted at the price you deserve. Finley Toyota, Nevada's #1 selling dealership at the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson.
Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino is the place to catch all of the action. Hey, it's JVT from Cofield and Company. Join ESPN Las Vegas every Sunday morning in the Superbook as we break down the games with the Westgate's John Murray. Free admission with tons of comfortable smoke-free seating with all the games shown on the cutting-edge 4K video wall. Make bets easily on the Westgate Superbook mobile app, plus great specials on drinks, buckets of beer, and food. See you Sunday for Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino with ESPN Las Vegas. Gambling problem? Call 1-800.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement from Desert Springs Pools. With Desert Springs Pools, you can go from excavation to plaster in just 10 weeks. So call Desert Springs Pools today. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. License 37573-52987.
Don't miss the William Hill Radio Show, hosted by Paul Howard. Now live every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. at the William Hill Sportsbook inside Palms Casino Resort. He'll break down all the latest betting action, including the odds, matchups, and who bettors are backing the most. After the William Hill Radio Show, make the William Hill Sportsbook at Palms Casino Resort your home for betting with live, continuous, and game wagering. Don't miss the William Hill Radio Show every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this fall. Don't rake or blow leaves into the street. Secure yard waste in bags. Safely dispose of household chemicals. Clean up vehicle leaks and spills. Apply fertilizers and pesticides sparingly. And don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting loveandbewaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925. Can you believe what they just said?
It's the dumbest. I don't get this.
I can't die. Join the conversation. Hit up the Finley Kia text line, 702-364-1100. It's Cofield and Company's Eye on Sports Gambling, presented by Oasis Bar and Grill. Only on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
Brad Powers is in on a Thursday. What's going on, Brad?
What's happening? Thanks for having me.
Not much. I'm in San Jose. I'm in a hotel lobby, like some of my favorite places to do shows from. John's down at Circa Las Vegas. I'm getting ready for San Jose and UNLV tomorrow. But before we get to that in college football, I saw your tweet today about Temple, and I think this is Temple basketball. Maybe some investigating going on, and then you pointed out that, hey, there were obvious issues going back to last year that people thought about.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a huge college basketball bettor, but last March, I mean, so we're talking well into the season when we got 30-plus data points on game day, not talking about some bad opener that one individual sports book put up, but we saw line movement in a few Temple games, 6, 7, 8 points, like an hour before tip, and nobody was hurt and nobody was suspended, and the line moved that much in an hour leading up to a game. In March, when you have the highest handle that you'll ever at least have on an individual college basketball game. So, yeah, it was multiple games. So there was something very nefarious going on.
Brad, do we go? I think there's two directions you go with this conversation. Is this is the problem with widespread sports gambling around this country, or there are systems in place to eventually catch things like this, and this is good that this thing was eventually caught and investigated?
It's good that it was caught, investigated. It's going to be very tough to not get caught in today's day and age. So I think legalization is only good when it comes to stuff like this, because it's on the up and up. The Vegas and the sports books are the watchdogs of this, and they monitor this better than anybody. So I don't think this is real negative.
Brad Powers with us. Before we get to the games, and I definitely want to concentrate on Notre Dame and Army here, and depending on what happens in that, I was throwing it out there, I think on Tuesday. I wanted long shots for the national title. Clearly, Notre Dame can't be in the top 4 with the buys because they're not in a conference. One, do you think that Notre Dame is decent value for the title at 25-1? 2, do you believe that someone who has to come from the 5-12 range can win the national title having played the extra game?
Oh, yeah, I mean, when you're talking, I think a team 5-12 that doesn't even have a home game in that first round can win it all, because we're still talking about Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, that 3 of the top 5 teams in anybody's power ratings at this point. So, yeah, I certainly think that a team from that first round can win it. Notre Dame 25-1 value. They'll probably be a home underdog to start, probably be an underdog in the next round. So I'm going to cop out and say your probably best bet is to do the money line rollover. Just bet them on the money line, take your winnings, roll it over to the next game where they'll be an underdog. So that'll probably pay out more than 25-1. But look, this is the most parity we've seen. I think teams 1 through 6, I've only have a couple points separating them. I mean, that's far different than the college football, the 14 playoff era, where we had 2 touchdown point spreads in semifinal games. We're not going to get that this year.
What do you make your boys against Army?
I like them quite a bit. I just mainly for the fact they've already seen the option this year. When the service academies are good and ranked, that usually catches Notre Dame's attention. So a fully attentive Notre Dame usually is bad news for the service academies, a la Navy earlier this year. And also bad news for Army, haven't played anybody. And by nobody, I mean not a single team in the top 90 of my power ratings. So, I mean, it's going to be quite a bit of a culture shock against Notre Dame's athletes.
We're starting to see 14s. Do you think this gets under 14? Should you wait?
Yeah, that's a good question. Boy, I'd be very surprised if it came under 14, but 14 is definitely a go for me.
All right, what about the big one of the Big Ten, Indiana and Ohio State? What are we doing with the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I'm eating chalk again. I lean Ohio State. I don't love it as much as I did prior to the injury to McLaughlin, their center. I don't know if it spells doom for Ohio State in this particular game. I do think it's more of an issue when they have to face teams like Oregon or an Alabama or Georgia come playoff time. Indiana, it's very similar to the Notre Dame Army handicap. Who has Indiana played? I mean, they played the most talented team they played was Michigan, and we saw them. That was their worst performance. I mean, they really struggled against that Michigan defense. And Ohio State's just as talented, if not more, than Michigan's defense, and they're much better coached. And Ohio State's offense is better. So I'm laying it with the Buckeyes.
The fact that this is down to 10 right now, I'm looking at, is that the McLaughlin injury? Does the market think it's that impactful?
10. I did not see that.
I think I'm not blind, right? I'm looking
at 3.5 points to the spread. So that must be a big group loves Indiana.
Yeah,
that's okay. I can tell you this. There's been a lot of moves on Thursday. They haven't been, I would say, I've been keeping track of them. There's about 10 of them a week. I would say that they're less than 50%, and I've been charting them.
All right, good. You scared me. I'm like triple checking. I'm like, yeah, no, it's 10. It's 10 and a half right now. So, all right.
Brad Powers up on Cofield and Company. All right, what do we want to do with Deion Shadur and Colorado and Kansas?
not going to be popular, and it always feels like I'm, talking against Colorado, but I'm showing value on Kansas. Colorado's covered 8 straight. Deion's done a wonderful job. The power rate, I looked what he inherited Colorado almost 2 years ago. He's upgraded their power rating 4 touchdowns, more than anybody in the country. So great job there. The problem I have is, who have they played? They played 3 teams in the top 40 of my power ratings. Lost to Nebraska, lost to Kansas State, should have lost to Baylor. They had the Hail Mary to force overtime. Kansas is a top 25 team in my power ratings, despite a 4-6 record. And I can make a case nobody in the Big 12 is playing better than Kansas right now. So give me Kansas +3. They win outright.
I love the pressure down the stretch and the attitude. Like, they have to win. Of course they're going to win, and they're going to win big. So I'm always looking for juicy upsets. I tried last week. Want to try again this week. Could Penn State fall against Minnesota laying 11?
I do, 15, 20 shows a week? Everybody's asking me about that one this week,
okay.
which makes me want to lay it with Penn State.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see it this year. I don't like the way Minnesota's constructed this year. Had they have that powerful run game with a great offensive line that they've had in years past, where they can shorten up the game, I would have liked it more. They pass more than they run this year, believe it or not. 53% pass. A couple years ago, they were 70% run. I just think Penn State will be able to shut down the run game. Minnesota's worst rush attack in 15 years. I don't see it, which probably means Minnesota wins the game outright. But I could not get to the win and personally on Minnesota this week.
Is there a chance we're seeing Cal just finally get worn down by this ping-ponging brutal schedule that they've played? Because they got kind of handled by Syracuse. Now they're laying 14 against Stanford.
Talk about market moves. Market loved Cal last week. Yeah. Bet that one right through key number 10 and couldn't have been more wrong them losing outright. You would think that a familiar opponent, a rivalry game, should have them a little bit more focused this week, especially they haven't clinched bowl eligibility yet. I am more inclined to lay it with Cal, believe it or not, especially catching Stanford off one of the biggest upsets in college football this season, beating Louisville. That was a thrilling win for them, but I'm laying it with Cal.
Brad Power is on the horn with Cofield and Company. He joins us every Thursday. Go to Brad Power 7 Up on Twitter and BradPowerSports.com on the web. BYU and Arizona State, the Sun Devils led by Marcus Arroyo and Kenny Dillingham. Actually a favorite in this one against BYU. This isn't the true dream killer, but I wonder how BYU is feeling right now. The playoffs kind of save it in terms of attitude.
Yeah, I think in past seasons, it would have been a true dream crusher. Hey, your season's over. But now, they're still in it. I'll tell you who's still in it. Arizona State wins out, right? They're going to the playoffs, believe it or not. If Arizona State wins their remaining games, they're going to the playoffs. So great job by Kenny Dillingham. I'm kind of avoiding the question here because I don't think there's much value. I expected coming in if you'd asked me about this game last week at this time, I would have said, yep, I'm expecting to have a very big bet on Arizona State. Problem is we lost a lot of value. BYU loses outright to Kansas. Arizona State wins outright on the road against Kansas State. So in a game that I expected not to be laying 3 in, I expected it to be pick, maybe Arizona State 1-ish. We lost value. I made it 3.
We're on in Vegas. We're on in Reno. So let's hit a few Mountain West Conference games. I would love to see an upset in this one. I don't see it happening. I think Wyoming is better, but is Wyoming good enough to pull off a major upset like this? Can they cover? They're getting 22.5 against Boise State.
Oh, I think they can cover. We saw Nevada cover against Boise in recent weeks. We should have saw San Jose State cover last week against Boise. So, Wyoming's offense has shown some improvement, although last week it wasn't a great look for their offense. I think at home, with extra pressure on Boise State, I lean with Wyoming in that one.
Nevada 3.5 against Air Force.
Yeah, this is going to be contrarian for me. I like Nevada. I know a lot of people like Air Force because of what they've seen the last couple of weeks. Outright upset against Fresno. Outright dominating win over Oregon State last week. I like the fact that Nevada had a bye week last week to prep for the option. I know they were a little bit banged up, but, man, they gave a great effort against Boise a couple weeks ago. I like Nevada here.
Colorado State needs to win out in the regular season to get to that Mountain West Conference title game, likely against Boise.
Present it properly, Steve. This game is for America. Fresno State needs to win for the country so we don't have to watch this garbage Mountain West title game.
I lean Colorado State plus the 3.
That whole build up. No dice. No dice. All right, for the game I'm going to be at tomorrow, UNLV and San Jose State. Very deceiving final score. By the way, were you on San Jose?
I was. That was the worst beat of the year.
Okay.
Glad I was on it too.
Well, they're in a bounce back situation here against UNLV, and apparently the conditions are not going to be good. It's going to be rainy and windy. So, what do you like in this one with a spread? Is it still sitting at 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5. And who's the favorite? Favorite's the team likes to run the ball more. That being UNLV. I mean, San Jose State's very pass happy this year. So I did bet UNLV. Now it was at a very different number, below a key number. When I be running to bet it now at 7.5, no, but my power rating still lean towards UNLV. So I just there's got to be great disappointment. San Jose State, that all out effort last week, come up short. I know it's a short week in traveling for UNLV, but that they had a bye week a couple weeks ago, and I mean they haven't had to. They didn't extend much effort against San Diego State last week. So I like the Rebs here.
There's not much time left in the season, but we can still bet the games. I just wanted to get your impression of Jaden Maiava in their quarterback for USC, and in this case, they're taking on UCLA 4.5.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I watched him a lot last year at UNLV, and I know he won the Freshman of the Year, but he puts the ball in harm's way too often for me. Still did last week against Nebraska. Threw a pick 6 and had a bad fumble. I think UCLA's live. I lean UCLA. I wouldn't be a bit surprised UCLA wins the game outright. Check USC's had some flu issues in practice. They've had a lot of players missing practice this week.
Oh, good tip. BradPowerSports.com. That's the kind of stuff you can get when you check out the site. Brad Power 7 as well. All right, Thursday Night Football. We got a lean alike. We got Steelers 3.5 in this one. Total 36.5, which is way down from the opener.
Yeah, way down because, I mean, there's going to be, sleet, snow, wind. So conditions not good. I'm going to go with the more trustworthy commodity, that easily being the Steelers here. So I lean Pittsburgh minus 3.5.
Don't you miss Ohio?
I do. I'll be back in Ohio soon.
I know you do.
I didn't for about a decade. But now
wow, you can't even say. You can't even get it out.
I know I'm getting all choked up over Ohio. I love that. I love that place in Skyline Chili. I think I might be going back there. We'll see. Maybe a trip to beautiful Dayton, Ohio. It was lovely last time I was there. Brad, we appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
There he is, Brad Powers. What do you think, John Maiava?
Thought it was the same Jaden Maiava that ended the year last year.
Yeah.
Threw a pick 6, holding the ball, like you said, like a loaf of bread, threw 2 other interceptable passes, according to PFF. That was the guy.
I forgot to ask you about this some 2 hours ago. Where do you think he lands? Because it might not be with USC that he finishes at. Where does he land?
I think the Bachmeier route, something like group of 5.
Capriotti's Bobby, the greatest sandwich in America, has always put the extra in extraordinary. Now, taste the next extraordinary.